the night was calm, too calm. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like something's about to break it. A man stood under the dim glow of a flickering streetlight, his arms protectively spread wide. Behind him, two little girls, no older than 6, clung to his jacket, trembling. His voice was steady, but his eyes burned with fear and determination. "Back away now," he said, his tone low but powerful. That was the moment everything changed. "Before we go deeper into what happened that night, take a second. Because what you're about to hear isn't just another story. It's about courage, love, and the kind of strength you never know you have until the world forces you to find it. So if you believe that kindness and bravery can still make a difference in this world, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this one might just change how you see people forever." Ethan Cole never planned on being a hero. He was just a single dad trying to make ends meet. The world had hit him hard. His wife passed away when their daughter Lily was just 3, and since then, every day felt like a fight. Between working double shifts at a construction site and picking up night deliveries to keep food on the table, life had drained every ounce of energy he had left. Still, every morning, when Lily ran to him, shouting "Daddy," with that toothless grin, he found a reason to keep going. One rainy evening, Ethan's old truck broke down in the wealthiest part of town. He'd just finished a late-night delivery, the kind where people didn't even say thank you, they just left money by the door. His phone was dead, and there wasn't a single taxi around. That's when he noticed 2 small figures running down the sidewalk, 2 little girls, drenched in the rain, their tiny hands clasped together. They looked terrified. "Hey, are you okay?" Ethan called out, stepping closer. The older twin, maybe 7, looked at him with wide blue eyes. "They're coming," she whispered. "Please help us." Ethan didn't understand what she meant until he heard it, the sound of footsteps. Heavy. Fast. Angry. Out of the dark, 3 men emerged. Tattoos, leather jackets, and eyes that screamed trouble. Ethan's heart dropped. He had no idea who they were, but one look at those girls told him they were in danger. "Back away now," Ethan said, standing between the men and the children. One of the thugs laughed. "You don't know who you're dealing with, old man. Those brats belong to us tonight. Their daddy's gonna pay for crossing the wrong people." Ethan didn't know who their father was. He didn't care. All he saw were 2 terrified kids. And for a man who'd lost the love of his life, who'd nearly lost everything, that was enough to light a fire inside him. "You'll have to go through me first," he said quietly. The leader sneered. "Bad choice." The next few seconds felt like hours. A punch came flying, but Ethan blocked it with his arm and swung back, landing a hit that stunned the man. The other 2 rushed him, but Ethan fought like a man possessed, not for glory, not for pride, but because 2 little lives depended on him. That he took hits, too. One cracked his ribs, another split his lip, but he didn't stop. He wouldn't. When the men finally stumbled back, bruised and furious, they spat curses and ran. The rain fell harder, washing blood from Ethan's knuckles as he turned back to the girls. "It's okay," he said, breathing hard. "You're safe now." The twins clung to him like he was their only lifeline. Moments later, a convoy of black SUVs appeared at the corner. Security guards jumped out, shouting the girls' names, Ava and Emma. Ethan stepped back, confused, as a tall man in a suit ran forward. His face was pale, terrified. "My daughters," the man cried, dropping to his knees and hugging them tightly. That was the night Ethan learned the truth. Those little girls were the twin daughters of one of the country's richest men, billionaire Victor Hale. The thugs were kidnappers who had taken the twins from their car earlier that evening, and Ethan, a broke single dad, had just saved their lives. Victor insisted on taking Ethan to the hospital, despite his protests. Ethan didn't want charity, he'd spent too long fighting to stand on his own. But when he saw Lily waiting for him at the hospital, sleeping in a chair, her tiny hand clutching his jacket, Victor saw something he hadn't seen in years: genuine love without agenda. The next day, Victor invited Ethan to his mansion. Ethan felt out of place among the marble floors and chandeliers, but when he saw the twins run up and hug him again, something inside him softened. Victor looked at him with gratitude. "You saved my daughters, Ethan. You risked your life for children you didn't even know. I can never repay that." Ethan smiled faintly. "You don't need to, sir. Any father would have done the same." But Victor wasn't done. He learned Ethan had been struggling for years, barely affording rent and medical bills for his late wife's treatments. Without saying a word, Victor arranged for Ethan to have a permanent job managing one of his company's construction branches. With benefits, health insurance, and stability. Ethan tried to refuse at first. Pride can be a stubborn thing. But Victor looked him in the eyes and said something that broke through that pride. "You taught me something last night," Victor said. "I've spent my life surrounded by people who pretend to care. You reminded me what real courage and kindness look like. Let me do this, not as charity, but as a thank you from one father to another." Ethan nodded, eyes glistening. "Then I'll accept it, for Lily." Weeks passed. Ethan settled into his new job, finally able to give his daughter the kind of life he'd only dreamed of. Every weekend, Victor's twins visited Lily, and the three became inseparable. Laughter filled both homes again, something that had been missing for far too long. One afternoon, as they watched the kids play in the garden, Victor turned to Ethan and said, "You know, I used to think money could fix everything. But watching you that night, you made me realize it's not about what you have, it's about what you give." Ethan chuckled softly. "Funny. I used to think I had nothing left to give. Guess I was wrong, too." Months later, that moment under the streetlight went viral. Someone had captured part of the incident on a nearby security camera, a man shielding two frightened girls, standing his ground against danger, saying those three words that echoed across the internet, "Back away now." People around the world were inspired. News channels called him the fearless father. But Ethan never saw himself as a hero. He was just a dad, one who knew what it felt like to lose everything, and couldn't stand to see another family go through the same. The story ends not with fame or fortune, but with something far greater. Every morning, Ethan still wakes up early. He still makes breakfast for Lily, still drives to work, still hums to the same old country songs on the radio. But now, there's peace in his heart. A reminder that the smallest act of courage can ripple into something extraordinary, and if you ever find yourself standing in front of something bigger than you, scared and unsure, just remember Ethan's words, steady, quiet, and full of love, "Back away now." Because real strength isn't about muscles or money. It's about protecting what's good, no matter the cost. If this story touched your heart, take a second, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what humanity is truly about, because sometimes, one act of kindness can rewrite a lifetime. Red Heart.